guys, Jody here, and welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, hi, I'm Jody, and on my channel I talk about Broadway and books. And in today's video, I'll be continuing my Broadway show series where I talk about every Broadway show I ever saw over the 20 years I was seeing Broadway shows on a regular basis. So in today's video, I'll be talking about the 8th Broadway show I ever saw, which was a stage adaptation of the iconic film Saturday Night Fever. So yeah, if you've been following the series on my channel, this show may sound familiar to you because I have talked about it on my channel before, twice to be exact, because I did end up seeing the show a total of 3 times on Broadway before it closed. So yeah, today I will be talking about my 3rd time seeing the show, which in turn was my 8th time seeing the show. And before I get into today's video, you know, in my last Broadway show series video where I talked about Saturday Night Fever when I saw it for the 2nd time, which was my 6th Broadway show, I was saying how I like to wear my Broadway t-shirts or shirts in these videos when I talk about a show, because I have bought a lot of shirts from the shows that I've seen, and I couldn't find my shirt for when I saw Saturday Night Fever on Broadway. I found my shirt from when I saw it on the national tour. And for those of you on the edge who have been on the edge of your seats, you know, wondering, did Jody find her t-shirt, or shirt, I guess it's more of a shirt, from when she saw Saturday Night Fever on Broadway? For those of you who have seen the show and know what the shirt looks like, you know what the answer to that question is already. But for those of you who have not seen the show and don't know what the shirts look like, well, you can kind of see some of it. Here we go. Saturday Night Fever, I found my shirt! Doing the pose, Saturday Night Fever pose. But yeah, I found my shirt. It was in a basket in the laundry room that was like under a bunch of stuff, and it's like, oh my god, we found it. Yes, because this is like shirt is like so important to me, because personally I don't like shirts like this style big. It's a bit big on me, but you know, it means a lot, you know, this shirt, because I love the show. Anyway, so yeah, I'll be talking about my 8th Broadway show today, which in turn was, this was my 8th Broadway show, Saturday Night Fever the musical, and I saw it 3 times on Broadway, but I'll be talking about my 3rd time seeing the show, which in turn was my 8th Broadway show. So yeah, I normally go over in these videos who was in the cast, who was on the creative team, any favorite songs or moments I had from the show, like how I like the show itself, and anything interesting I find in the playbill. Sometimes I talk about my day in the city seeing the show as well. Today I'll be focusing mostly on who was in the cast at my performance, how I liked the show, my favorite moments from the show, and anything interesting in the playbill, as well as my day in the city. That's because I don't want to go over everything that I've talked about when it comes to the show, because I have talked about it before, and I just be repeating myself. So that's that. And before I get into everything, I'll just show you the page with the credits. First, hopefully, I'm assuming my camera will go out of focus, because it likes to do that when I show the playbills up close in these videos. So let's hope it doesn't, but probably will. So there's the page with the credits and everything, and then the page with the lead performers and supporting performers. And then I'll get to the page with the rest of the cast. Okay, so this particular time seeing this particular show was a huge deal for me, and I say that I'm just checking to see if the camera is in focus. I think it is. Okay, so this particular trip, like I said, was a big deal because, okay, me and my mom absolutely love the show. For those of you who haven't tuned to my channel before, welcome. But also, Saturday Night Fever is one of my favorite Broadway shows of all time. It's that show that, like, I always loved the performing arts and theater, but it's that show that, like, just got me super invested in Broadway and wanting to see every show and things like that. And, you know, let me know in the comments what that show was for you. But this was that show for me. And this is like I said, this is one of my favorite shows of all time. And this is one of my mom's favorite shows of all time, possibly her favorite show ever. I didn't mention that in the 2nd video where I talked about Saturday Night Fever, and she was like, "How? You didn't say that was my favorite show." I said, "Mom, I said it was your favorite show in the first time I talked about this show. So I'm going to say it again. This is my mom's favorite show ever. There you go, Mom. Okay, so me and my mom found out when the show was going to close. The show ended up closing, I believe, on December 30th of 2000. Or December 31st of 2000. It was the 30th or the 31st. I'm not positive about that, thinking about it now. But anyway, whatever the case was, we were like, we have to go see it one last time. And for some reason, I was like, I think at the time, because I had mostly seen Saturday matinees, maybe a few Wednesday matinees here and there, maybe a few night shows. I don't know what I'm talking about. But I just wanted to see the last Saturday matinee of the show. So I'm like, let's go to the December 30th, 2 p.m. Saturday matinee. And my mom was like, yeah, that sounds fun. So my mom's friend actually was like, oh, I'll drive you guys into the city. And we were like, okay, yeah, come see the show with us. So we all got tickets for the show, and my mom's friend was going to drive us in to the Saturday matinee, to the last Saturday matinee of Saturday Night Fever the Musical on Broadway. And, you know, as the week was approaching, the weather report was not looking great for Saturday, December 30th, 2000. And, they said there was going to be like a snowstorm, possibly a really bad one, possibly a blizzard where, traveling was not really going to be possible. And as the days were approaching, that were getting closer to Saturday, it was looking more and more, or it's becoming more and more apparent that this was going to be quite the snowstorm of the year. And as I think it must have been around maybe Wednesday or Thursday, my mom was thinking, we're probably not going to make it to seeing the show if we go on Saturday. So my mom's friend said, if you guys want to try to get tickets for Friday night, I'll still take you. And so my mom got tickets. Miraculously, they had tickets for Friday night. And so we went to the Friday night show instead. And, spoiler, it's a great thing we got tickets for Friday night, because Saturday matinee, Saturday in general, if you had to travel to the city that day, it wouldn't have been possible, because it was like the blizzard of 2000. It was a huge snowstorm, and traveling would not have been possible. So that would have been heartbreaking to have had tickets for, the show, and then not to have gone to see the show. So it's a miracle I made it into the city to see the show one last time, and I'm just, thank you to my mom and my mom's friend again for making this possible for this gal to see her favorite show one last time on the Broadway stage. So yeah, I just thought I'd talk about my day in the city that day, because it was like one of the most memorable trips to the city I've ever had, because the next day, like I said, it would not have been possible to see the show. So, and if you remember the end of December of that year, you'll probably know what snowstorm I'm talking about. And yeah, shows actually did go on that day, but like I said, traveling just would not have been possible. It was like one of those really bad snowstorms. So now that I got my little story time story about my last time seeing the show out of the way, I'll get on to the show itself. So like I said, this was a few performances before its last performance on Broadway, and at this point, a lot of the cast had changed, because like I mentioned in my last time talking about the show, my second time seeing the show was actually the lead performer, James Campanello, who played Tony Manero. It was his last performance in that show that day. So after that time, I think there were a lot of cast changes, and so I saw Sean Palmer play Tony Manero for my last time seeing the show, and he was originally in the cast, he played one of Tony's friends normally, so he went up to lead performer in the show. And yeah, I'll probably show the page with the credits again, because I did my story time too soon, and now I'm talking about the cast, so I should probably show this again. Hopefully the camera stay in focus. Yeah, there we go. And yeah, Sean Palmer, I saw him play Tony Manero for the last time, and Paige Price, she was there, and she played for her character Stephanie. Orphe was in it, and at this point there were, like I said, a few cast changes in the show, because James Campanello had left, and at this point Richard H. Blake had left, I believe, because he was going on tour to play Tony Manero on tour, so the part that he played was now played by someone else. I forget who he played in the show. But yeah, there were a lot of people, new cast members to the show, and I don't I don't have any like understudy slips in here, but for some reason, I don't know. For some reason, I don't remember seeing Andy Carl in this show, in this performance, because I think he left at this point to do the tour. I'm not positive on that, but I remember, Andy Carl joined the show. He's right there. He's quite a famous Broadway performer at this point. He's done a lot of shows. He's been nominated for a Tony Award, and I think he either took over for Richard H. Blake or Andy Blakemuller or one of the performers that played his friend. But yeah, for some reason I don't remember seeing him at my performance. But there's no understudy slip, so maybe I did. But I thought he did the tour. I'm not sure. But anyway, what I'm trying to get at is Andy Carl at this point had joined the show, and this is actually the show where him and Orfeh met, and they later ended up marrying. And they're one of my favorite Broadway couples. Orfeh's right there, and then Andy Carl is right there. And yeah, I just love this cast. What can I say? Yeah, so those were the performers in the show that I had seen that day. And as far as like my favorite moment in the show, I love the show itself from start to end. It's one of those shows for me that I will always have a special place in my heart for, because it was just that show that made me fall more in love with the theater. And I have to say, one of like a bittersweet moment seeing this show was, like I said, I've seen almost every Broadway show with my mom, but this particular show for the two of us is a really special one because it's one of our favorites, and it's the show that, like, where we started seeing more shows after this. It's that show that made, like, it was our favorite show, basically. But there's I believe it's in Act 2, How Deep Is Your Love? It's like the very last number in the show. The song list is right there, or at least half of the song list. My camera's gonna go out of focus. Don't go out of focus, camera. So yeah, it's the very last song. It's between, Tony and Stephanie. They sing it, and it's like they're sitting on a bench, and like the Brooklyn Bridge is like right behind them. And I remember like leaning over to my mom and whispering to her, "This is the last time we're gonna see this." And it's like, it's like just a memory that I've always had, even after all these years. Oh, I forgot when I did say when I saw the show. December 32. Well, actually, I saw it December 29th, 2000. But yeah, even after 23 years, or almost 23 years, I still remember that moment. It's just a really special moment, and, bittersweet, because it's like, it's not here anymore. And, okay, so what else I got? Okay, so now I'll talk about, like, anything interesting I may find in the playbill along the way. The thing is about playbills, at least when I was seeing shows, usually the whole month has the same thing in it. So if you watch my last video where I talked about my 7th Broadway show, I saw Jekyll and Hyde in December of 2000 as well. So nothing in this playbill is different from when I showed that playbill. The same stuff is in this playbill. But, I will try to find something new, and I'll just show you once again. This is from December of 2000. And let's see. Oh, there's a thing in here about Miss Saigon, and I actually almost saw the revival that was in 2017, I believe, but I ended up missing it. I really wish I could have seen it, because it's super cool about that show, because the revival ended up playing where the original show first played when it was on Broadway, and like, that's so cool. But yeah, there's a little article with some pictures about Miss Saigon, because Miss Saigon was still playing at the time, I believe. I think so, at least. I think it was there for about a decade, so let's see. Oh. I think, yeah, because I believe Miss Saigon only played on Broadway for like a decade, and at this point, it was close to a decade. Oh, I think that show closed in January of 2001, so that's probably why there was a little bit of an article in here about the show. I don't really think there's anything else in the playbill that I feel like I have to point out. But, I'll give it another look just to see. Sorry for the silence, oh well. Well, the full Monty had started at this point, and there's a little thing in here about a little thing in here about the Full Monty, a show I will soon be talking about in the near future because I did get to see it. Yeah. Oh, I guess I silly enough forgot. I got us a few signatures because, of course, you know, I went in on my own. I didn't go on a bus trip, so I was able to wait at the stage door afterwards. And like a lot of stage doors, you know, like the performers come out with like, you know, those Sharpie markers now, so you know the signatures are a little bit more visible. But I think back 20 years ago, you had most people like myself, we bought a pen, so yeah, the signatures aren't as visible because of that. The camera's gonna go out of focus. I'm all over the place, but yeah, I from what I can tell, I remember also, yeah, Sean Palmer, Paige Price, Orfeh, I think two of the chorus. I can't read the signatures as well, but yeah, you know, great stage door experience, and that's really the Mid-Scott Theater has a great stage door. You know, like if it's raining or the weather's bad, it's like it's like through a walkway, and like because of that, like, you know, there's like an overhang, and like, you know, it's just like it's spacious, and you know, if it's raining, you won't get wet. And I don't know what I'm talking about now, but yeah, thank you so very much for watching this video, because I've been all over the place in this video. What can I say? I haven't been having the greatest day, and I'm like, let me talk about Saturday Night Fever, you know, because that was a better time in life for me. And yeah. So let's see, what's the next show I will be talking about? Let me see if there's a thing in here. Oh, I think there is, because yeah, the next show I will be talking about is dun, 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 Cabaret. Now I'm thinking to myself, am I right on that? Yes, I am right on that. And actually, everybody that's listed in this little thing, which probably isn't visible on camera, but yeah, Katie Finneran was in it, Matt McGrath, Dick Latessa, and Carol Shelley. Or probably, I definitely remember Katie Finneran and Matt McGrath were in it, but I'm not sure if Carol Shelley was still in it at that time, but I guess I'll find out when I look at my playbill. But yeah, that's the next show I'll be talking about, and let me know in the comments if you ever saw, you know, Saturday Night Fever on Broadway, or did you ever see any production of Saturday Night Fever? If so, how did you like it? You know, what's your favorite show of all time, or what's the last Broadway show you saw? Let me know in the comments, because that'd be cool to talk about. So if you've made it to this point of the video, thank you so very much for watching, and until next time, bye!